Alright folks, the last thing I want to show you is how to simplify the cut path around this fire extinguisher. And the reason I want to do that, first of all, let me select it. And let me zoom in a little bit. Look at all these anchor points. And what that'll do is, if there's a lot of sharp turns real close to each other, and especially if you have a laminated print that you're cutting out, it will tend to mutilate your cut path and your print and just make a mess out of it. So what you want to do is simplify this cut path and round out these corners, make it easier for your printer to cut this out. And to do that, very simply, with this path selected, go to the Object menu, go to Path, and select Simplify. Now start out with both your sliders all the way to the right. And that's starting with no changes at all. You can see the original here has 1,076 anchor points, and the current has the same number. So there's been no changes applied yet. Make sure your preview box is selected, and then go to the angle threshold slider and move it to the left. You can see right away we've cut the number of points in half. Now I want you to move up to the curve precision slider, move that to the left. And what's that's going to do is round out some of the corners. You can see we've cut that number in half again, so we're down to about a quarter the number of points, and then just play with them. Play with them and keep your eyes on the actual cut path and see what kind of results you're getting. Your goal is to simplify it as much as possible without getting rid of your bleed, okay, without having this cut path go outside of the actual fire extinguisher graphic. So play around a little bit and see what you end up with. And I'm happy with that. That's about a quarter of the number of points, and it looks like I'm going to have a good cut path. I'm going to accept that. Then I'm going to hold down the space bar and actually pan around inside the graphic and see what the results are. And if I'm happy with them, then I'm going to move on. And I am happy with that. I'm going to hit Control 0 to zoom out all the way. Control minus one more time to zoom out just a little bit further. And that's it, folks. We are done. What we would do now is print this out after first turning off this background layer, because we do not want that background layer to print. Of course we don't. So what we do is we turn that to nothing. And this boundary here, this border, if you want to cut that out, and you probably do, you want to now go ahead and move that boundary up to the cut paths layer. And the last thing you want to do with that is make sure that the entire path there, whoops, is inside of the artboard. Right now it's straddling the artboard, which will be problematic. Move the whole thing inside of the artboard by going to the Transform palette and make it 1/10 of an inch smaller all the way around. And you can see that moves that entire boundary inside of the artboard now. And that's it, folks. That is what you're going to print, laminate, reload and cut, or just print and cut depending on your requirements. Now, let me give you a piece of advice. If you have any problems with this, with the VersaWorks software, the Roland VersaWorks software, if that's the RIP that you're using, if it's having any trouble recognizing these cut paths, then your problem is the transparency that is being used in creating this clipping path. Sometimes it's a problem, sometimes it is not. I don't know why sometimes it is, why sometimes it isn't. But if you have a problem, what you want to do is come in here, unlock and select that layer, and then flatten that layer. And there's one more way to get rid of all the transparency, and that's to turn the entire graphic, with the exception of the cut paths, into a JPEG. Alright folks, that's it. That's all I got for you. If you have any questions, anything I can do to help you out, feel free to drop me a line at steve@rocketbanner.com. and I'll do my best. Thank you.